Hi guys, my name is Sarah Hernandez, and for my presentation I did how to make a candle. So some of the things to make a candle is, one thing you need is a clean stove. The next thing you need is a mason jar. And then another thing to have is wax, scented oil, and also a wick. These are must-have things in making a candle. So the first step is you're going to prepare the work area. This basically just means make sure the kitchen and stove are clean and ready and prepared to make a candle. The next step is melting the wax. So the first thing you do in the process of melting the wax is you're going to get a pot and put a good amount of water in the bottom of the pot and then add a pound of wax. The water will help make the wax boil and make it heat up. You want the wax and stove to be between 160 and 170 degrees Fahrenheit. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes for the wax to melt. The next step is adding the wick to the container. So while the wax is melting, you're going to add a wick to the mason jar. Most wicks have stickers, but if not, use super glue. And while you do this, just make sure it's kind of centered and staying in place. The next step is you're going to add fragrance oil to the melted wax and stir it. So usually if you have a pound of wax, you're going to be adding an ounce of oil, and you're going to want to stir this for 30 seconds. The next thing is to just let the wax cool down on the stove, and then once it's cooled down, you're going to want to pour it into a mason jar. But you're going to want the wax at 130 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. This kind of cools down quickly, so make sure you're watching the temperature of your thermometer. While you pour the wax into the mason jar, make sure you are holding the wick in place and make sure it's centered. The next step is you're going to want to secure the wick. So keep it in place with a pencil or some type of writing utensil to make sure the wick is upward. The next step is you're going to want to let it cool. And usually when you let it cool down, there's a small sinkhole that will appear at the top of the candle. Just pour the leftover wax that is in the pot into the mason jar. The next step is to trim the wick. You're going to want the wick at around a 1/4 inch. And then the next step is to just make sure everything's clean and clean up all of the materials that were used. And then after that, just enjoy your candle. Here's a picture of the finishing products. And then this picture is showing you how the wick is secured with the pencil. And then here's another picture of the wax entering the candle and some of it drying.